Hey everybody, Eric Grenier here with Philippe J. Fournier on this special episode of The Numbers. And Philippe, we have a little bit of the Christmas spirit going on right now. I do like your light. Your hat is lighting up.
It's a bit annoying though, but because I can see it too. Oh, there you go.
Oh, it adjusts. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to keep this on because I will start to beads of sweat coming down the head. But it is our traditional over-under competition for 2026, Philip, and it is just a few days before Christmas, so we have our little hats, but I'm taking mine off. I am done with this thing. But anyway, so Philip, it is good to see you, and it is good to do this again. This is actually the fifth time.
Is it, huh? Wow.
It is the fifth time that we have done the over-under competition. We have covered ourselves in both glory and shame over the last few years, and we're going to do it all over again. But before we get into that, Philip, how are you feeling at the end of this year?
Oh boy, it was quite a year, huh? We had a lot of fun together. Our little community grew a lot, so I'm really happy about that. If you're asking how I'm feeling today, I still have residuals of this bug that I had from last week, but I'm feeling great, and college semester went well, so I cannot complain. Life is good, and I'm really happy to do this final episode with you this year. We're gonna have some fun here, because last year's over/under competition turned out to be. Well, we didn't do too well.
No, we didn't.
There were some surprises, right? There were some surprises along the way. So.
Just a few. So every year, what we do is we try to set some lines that are over/under lines. That we try to make some predictions for the year to come. Our first one we did in 2022, we actually ended up in a tie. The next year you won, and then in 2024 I won. That's right. And before we get into what we're going to do for 2026, we do have to look back at 2025. Now, back in June, I think it was, we did a review of how our predictions were for the federal election. Now, to be fair to us, we made those predictions in mid-December 2024.
That's right.
A lot happened after that. So most of our predictions were pretty bad. I think we had a line for conservative seats in the 230s. We had... I was watching it yesterday. I had over/under on the Liberal share of the vote, and I put it at 18.9%.
Wow.
They did a bit better than that.
Yeah.
So we did that episode for the Patreon, so we don't need to rehash it here and embarrass ourselves, though I should point out that I did win the federal election 9-7. We also made some predictions for the Ontario election. That one was a little bit better. We tied 3-3 on that. But we had a few other over-unders that we didn't get a chance to go over on the Patreon episode, so I wanted to go over them just very quickly with you right now. A couple of them were on the Newfoundland Labrador election. We had the date, because we didn't know when the date was going to be.
That's right.
We put it October 14th, or we put it at October 1st. It was actually October 14th. We both chose the after on that. We had set the line for Liberal seats at 21.5. They had 15. You had the over. I had the under, so I was good there. This was actually a good one we did. Who would have more of the vote? The Newfoundland Labrador Liberals or the federal Conservatives in Newfoundland? Do you know the answer?
It would be hang on. The provincial Liberals or the federal Conservatives?
Yeah.
The provincial Liberals did better, didn't they?
They did. They had 43%. Yeah. The Conservatives had 40%. And so we had both said, though, that Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives would do better.
Wow.
We had the number of provincial elections. We had it at 2.5. There was only two, Ontario and Newfoundland Labrador. We both chose the under. You had PQ by-election victories. They ended up having two. The line was 1.5. You chose the over. I chose the under. Premier resignations. We put it at 1.5. There was actually four, if we count a few asterisks, but there was Andrew Furey, there was Dennis King, there was John Hogan in Newfoundland and Labrador, and Rob Lance, who just recently resigned in PEI. You chose the under, I chose the over. Yet playoff wins for the Maple Leafs.
Hang on, though. Hang on. Lance was an interim. So
yeah, I know. It doesn't matter anyway. The
but you
line
still
was
win, though.
1.5,
You still win. Yeah, you still win, though.
You had
Sorry.
playoff wins for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, they had 7.
They had
They had 7.
Yeah, and you put it at 3.5. I had faith in the team, I guess. We also had Four Nations team. Canada wins in the round robin. They actually went 1 win, 1 overtime win, and 1 loss. I put the line in 1.5. You had over. So those extra ones, you got 4 points out of that. I got 5. And then in the bonus episode we did a few extra over-unders with the number of NDP leadership candidates, 2.5. You chose the over, I chose the under. There's currently 5. The number of conservative MPs, this was interesting, who publicly call for a change of leadership for Pierre Poilievre, we put it at 0.5. I'm going to say that 2 floor crossers count as
that
2
counts,
people
huh?
questioning. So I chose the over on that. And then we had finally... Pierre Poilievre's vote in Battle River Crowfoot, we put the line at 78%. He got 81%. You chose the under. I chose the over. So
I chose the under on this?
You did.
I don't know what I was drinking. Okay.
So, Flip, the final tally for the 2025 over-under with the bonus little ones we did, which didn't end up changing the score that much, was 15 for you, 19 for me.
Congratulations,
so
Eric.
I won,
Yep,
and now
right.
I have the overall lead. I've won 2 of these. You have won 1. And I think this will be the last one. I don't think we're going to ever do them anymore because I'm just going to stop the count right now. But anyway, I will take your kudos. Thank you.
You have the title, my friend. So as weird a year as this was, you took a decisive lead. So good for you. I'm looking forward to take back that crown in 2026. So let's get right into it, Eric. We're going to split this because, of course, we have a lot to cover. We're going to do federal first, and then we're going to go into provincial and miscellaneous stuff after. It's going to be split in 2 halves. So, Eric, where should we start? Do you want to go first on the federal, or should I go first? Because I have a few lines, but I also have notes that I can improvise on if we need more. So let's begin, my friend.
Okay, we will start with federal, as you said, and the provincial will be in the episode next week. We're going to split it up so you can enjoy that after Christmas.
Excellent.
But so yeah, like I said, we set a line. So just to give people an example of how this works, let's say we said that we think the Conservatives, or we'll do Quebec elections since it's next year, just as an example. If we said that we thought the PQ, how many seats would they win? We'd put the line at 65.5. One of us chooses the over, one of us chooses the under, and then we ended up seeing who ends up being right. Now, the purpose of this is a little bit to kind of set our kind of where our baseline is right now, how we look ahead at the next year. A lot of it is fun, and a lot of it is us having to make a prediction. We don't. It doesn't mean that we like truly believe it, or it's what we want to happen or anything like that, but we're being forced to put our crystal balls on the table and
forced predictions.
We'll
That's
see
right.
if they get smashed. Okay, so for the federal, we'll start. And why don't you kick us off? Kick us off with a good one. The first over-under for 2026.
So as you know, I have a weekly update on the federal scene when we're outside of elections, and I calculate a weighted average of the polls. Now, there is some modeling involving which way the pollsters miss, but usually it's a fraction of a point. So if we use the 338 tracker, what will be the highest average for the Conservatives throughout 2026. Now, I round to the nearest percentage points. Yes, I do have the decimals, but on the website, I always round to the nearest percentage points. So I will set a line, my friend, the highest Conservative average in 2026 at 42.5%. Will the Conservatives get an average of 43 or above throughout the year?
Where are they right now?
They are at 39.
39, okay. 40, so they got to get at least 43%. I don't think they reached it that often, even in 2024. Only a couple times, I think.
They were at 45 at the highest when Justin Trudeau resigned, and then they slipped to 37, then got back to 40 in time for the election.
A year's a long time, but an average means a lot of polls. And
That's right.
it means that we need to have a period where the Conservatives are getting a bunch of 44s, 45, 46% of the polls.
That is correct.
I'm going to say that I don't think that's going to happen. So I will choose the under on the Conservative polling peak in 2026 at 42.5.
Okay, and I will take the over. Not that necessarily they will go much over, but I can see the federal Liberals getting into trouble in their second year in power with Mr. Carney. And the only party that would take advantage, I think, would be the Conservatives, maybe a little bit the NDP. But so I will take the over. I think at some point throughout 2026, the Conservatives will reach 43% in my average. And I will not game it for the sake of this over-under competition. I will be, of course, always integrity and stuff. So
right.
There you go.
Well, we'll see. If they end up at like 42 and then just on December 31st or 40, I'm gonna call foul.
That's right.
Okay, this one's going to be, I think, the question we all have in the next coming months. And it is going to be the number of additional floor crossers that go over to the Liberals in 2026. And I'm wondering where to put the line here. Now, we've seen some reporting that there could be as many as 2 or 3. There was lots of suggestions. There was going to be a whole bunch of them around the budget. There ended up just being the one. So, you always got to tamp down your expectations. But I'm going to put the line at 1.5. Additional floor crossers in 2026 from the Conservatives, the NDP, Greens,
from
Bloc, from anybody.
Okay, from any party.
Yeah,
okay, I was going to ask you.
In 2026.
Okay, so basically new Liberal MPs that are currently elected. Okay, that's what I would do. 1.5. Here's the thing: is that we discussed this in a latest episode. Multiple floor crossers towards the same party in the same parliament. That's rare. And so we already have 2, or you could say 2.5 with Mr. Généreux, that didn't cross the floor, but reports were that he was considering it. So having 2 more, I'm going to go with under. I think there could be 1 more, but I do not see multiple ones from the Conservative, from any party towards the Liberals throughout 2026. What say you, my friend?
I'll take the over. I do think that there's a good chance they'll find 1 more, especially when you just need 1 more for a majority. And can they get another one after that? I don't know. If the floodgates open, I can see 2 or 3. So I'm going to take the over on that one. And if there is an election next year, I guess that'll kind of invalidate it, unless we get even more after the election. But we'll see. I think that I'll take the over. I'm not too unsure about that. So
you think the Liberals will get to the majority threshold this year, basically?
I think they could. Yeah, I kind of feel like at some point they will. I don't know if it's going to be enough to hold it for an entire year, because they're going to have resignations and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised at some point in the early year they're at 172, 173. They prorogue, they reset all the committees, they get their majorities there, and then we see what happens.
Wow. Okay. Well, that could be interesting. Okay. All right. Well, where should I go here? I don't want to... Thing is, of course, I have themes in there, but thing is, I had number of Liberal seats by February 1st, so just after the Poilievre review, but 171.5. This is the equivalent of what we just did, and so I'm going to scratch this one. I'm going to take this one off the table because here's the one. Eric, number of federal by-elections where we see a flip. So we expect to have at least, 4 by-elections throughout 2026. I think there's been, Miss Freeland, Mr. Wilkinson, Mr. Blair, and then we think Mr. Généreux of the Conservatives, formerly of the Conservatives, still with the Conservatives.
Well, he's the only one who's explicitly said he's going to give up his seat.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So that's 4, and perhaps there will be more throughout the year. How many of them will see a flip of parties? And I will set the line at 1.5.
Ooh. All right. Well, I don't think any of those Liberal seats would flip. I think there's outside chance that Edmonton Riverbend could flip, but I don't know if I'd give it a full 1. There's if Aaron Gunn ends up running for the Conservative leadership, that's North Island Powell River. Maybe the NDP could win that.
Maybe.
Oh, is there going to be 2? That's a lot of flips. I think I'll take the under on that. I think I'll take the under that. I could imagine 1 flip, but I'm going to say there's only going to be 1.
Okay, and I'm going to take the over. The numbers aren't going to stay that good for the Liberals, I think, throughout the year. So we could have some surprises. We could have some resignations that we haven't foreseen yet. And the NDP with a new leader perhaps will get a bump. So I'm going to take the over on the number of by-elections flips throughout 2026. Okay.
All right, but who's flipping? Who's losing?
You want names and parties, right?
Well, I mean, if you look at the ones that we know are going to happen,
Yeah.
not likely the Liberals lose those. They're pretty safe seats.
That's true.
but
That's
I don't
true.
know.
But the thing is, okay, so we just had Monsieur Guilbeault resign from cabinet. Not from caucus, but from cabinet. There could be others, like Monsieur Guilbeault, who are disappointed in this rightward turn the Liberals have taken. And I could see after the NDP gets a new leader, if they get a bump, perhaps some seats could suddenly be in danger. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. I'm betting on some surprises because last year I was surprised with the amount of surprises. So I don't want to get caught in it.
Last year, yeah. Okay, so we have another one that's going to be settled not too long from now, and that is going to be the leadership review for Pierre Poilievre.
I had this
Calgary.
one too. All right.
So this is where I'm setting the line, and we'll see if the line is any good. But I'm going to set the line at 85%.
Oh my God! I'm slamming the over, like boom, boom, slamming the over.
Really?
On 85%. Yeah. I mean, are you taking the over as well? Because if so, we have to move the line. But slamming the over.
You're slamming it. What did you put the line at?
90.
You know what? I'm not sure anymore. I agree
sure
that I think the leader...
Do you think Poilievre is in trouble?
I don't think he's in trouble, but these are like delegates that were chosen by the EDAs and stuff, so they are pretty involved members. It's not just... it's not just people who show up for rallies and stuff. These are people who volunteer with the party, so they care about the party and what's happening with it. And what if there are 2 or 3 floor crossers within a week of this leadership review? I'm not saying he's getting 60, but could he get 84? I think he could. I'm gonna take the under.
At 85. We're sticking with 85. Okay.
I'll stick it. Okay. Well, Well, then if we put it at 90, would you still take the over?
I ain't saying.
Okay. Well, you can take
it's your
the
line.
over at 85.
It's your line.
I'll take the under, and we'll see. And
okay.
What would you say is the number that becomes a problem?
Oh man, I was gonna ask you that. Like, this is not part of the our little betting here, but thing is, anything under 80%, I think, is hugely problematic. I mean, thing is, Poilievre. Okay, so problematic not in Poilievre's mind. Poilievre lost the election and lost his seat and carried on, and the caucus let him do it. Let him go to rural Alberta to get a seat and remain leader. So I think the threshold of what is acceptable would be different for people in the media, commentators, the caucus, and Poilievre himself. We've seen Monsieur Rostad, maybe not a good example this year because he finally resigned, but Monsieur Rostad had 70 and thought that was enough to go on. Mm-hmm. We had Merit Style, the NDP leader in Ontario, she had 68? Yeah, she had 68% and thought this was enough. So it's a moving target. But anything that starts with a 7 for me would signal that, Poilievre is maybe not on as solid footing as he thinks he is. It's just I have a feeling that looking at the whole landscape, I think he could easily get into the 90s. But we'll see.
Okay. All right.
What do you think?
I agree that in the 70s, it's like questions. In the 60s, it's problems. I think that's how I would put it. In the 80s, it's fine. And in the 90s, it's everybody shut up. So we'll see what the members go. Okay, you're next.
Okay, so Léger does a monthly federal poll with the National Post, or with Post Media, I would say. They've been pretty steady. I mean, sometimes Léger does Quebec polls in an irregular pace. It's basically whenever the Journal de Montréal wants one. But it's been pretty steady. Once a month, early in the month, Léger has a federal poll. And in those polls, there's always government satisfaction and government approval in there. So we're going to focus on the government approval. When in the year does the Carney Liberals get a net negative approval in Léger polling?
Net negative.
Net negative. And for a reference, the last one that they did in late November, early December, it was plus 13. 51 approve and 38 disapprove. So plus 13. So when do they get their first net negative? And I will say October 15th. So basically, if they keep doing early in the month, the October poll would be the latest one allowed. Do the Carney Liberals get a net disapproval, net negative approval by the end of October, the mid-October?
Well, that's interesting one because it's been holding steadily enough.
Yeah,
and now they're approaching 8 weeks or 8 months. Plus,
they even bounced back because in October of this year was plus 6,
yeah,
but it bounced back to plus 13.
And there'll be the stuff with Kuzma next year.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be. Oh man, that's a good one.
Thank you.
You know, it's not inevitable that you end up underwater. You can look at Wab Canoe, who's walking on water still after 2.5 years in power, or a little over 2 years. I'm gonna take the after.
Oh,
I think I'll take the after on October 15th. I think that maybe they end up +1, +2 by the end of the summer or something like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. The trends have been pretty steady, so I'm gonna stick. I'll stick with the after for now.
Okay, I agree. And so we should move the line. I'm gonna
put the line to December 31st.
Okay, so basically throughout 2026, will Léger have a net negative approval for the Carney Liberals? Yes or no?
There, I would say yes.
Me too.
Okay.
So okay, November 15th. Then what do you say? Do you say that just before Christmas they get a negative, or they won't at all? Oh,
I'm going to say that it's going to be related to
because there's a midterms in the U.S. There's a midterm in the U.S. on November.
Yeah, there'll be a budget. I don't know. Okay, I'll take the before then.
Okay, wait. You'll take the. So you took after in October, but you're taking before November.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take the after. Okay, I wasn't too sure. So we say November 15th because I think Léger always publishes early in the month. So that's
okay.
Okay.
And is it the date of the publishing of the poll or the fielding of the poll?
We'll say the fielding just to be fair, but it shouldn't be an issue unless they change their schedules.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go on a similar thread as you. Okay. So one of the things we've been talking a lot about is the Nanos Research Best PM number for Mark Carney, which has been over 50%.
Yeah.
And we kind of said, like, this, it's not going to stay at 50% forever.
Yeah.
So here's my over-under. Not on when it drops below 50%, but when it never comes back from 50%. So I'm not talking about a single one. I'm talking about, like, the point where it dropped below 50 and then never came back by the end of the year. That one, I think, is going to be a bit different. So I'm going to put the over-under at March 31st.
It's worth noting, I'm just pulling it right now. So the Nanos tracker for Best PM in October of this year, Carney got to 46. And it got back up to 53, and now it's at 51. So you're saying that if it goes below 50%, but later in the year it goes back up above 50%, then it nullifies. It resets the date. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What you're
so
saying?
More or less, when is the last poll that he gets from Nanos that is over 50?
And you said the line at?
March 31st.
Oh, after. I'm taking after.
You're taking after?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take... I put... Wait. I don't like
So are you saying that you think Carney will dip below 50 before March 31st and never go back up above 50?
May 1st.
May 1st. I'm still going to take the after.
Okay.
Are you take the, did you take
I
the
will
before?
I will take the before, and it's because the NDP will have its leader.
That's right. That's true.
And Davies, I think, gets like 2 or 3% or something like that. I think the new leader will end up getting a couple more points, take a few don't knows off the table, and then Carney will be below 50 at some point in, let's say, April.
That's interesting. So, that's interesting. It's a fair demarcation and line demarcation. I mean, we think the NDP leader, the new NDP leader, would have some kind of boost because they always do. Even Jagmeet Singh did when he. That's interesting because right now I can tell you who because I follow this tracker every week. Right now in third place is Blanchet with 6%, and
Actually,
he always
third
gets
place
fourth.
Was unsure.
Unsure is also very strong. So okay, well, it's funny you say that because I was going to take the same tracker with you, but going with the opposition leader. So Poilievre, the highest score Poilievre gets in 2026 in the Nanos Preferred PM tracker. Now, last year, he got into the early 40s in January, and then it went down and it never really got back up. He has oscillated between 23 and 28% since the election. 28 was actually a peak that he reached in early December. Last week he was at 26. So the highest score for Poilievre. And actually, I assume that Poilievre will stay on as leader. If he doesn't stay on as leader, well, we'll check what was his high score. I'm going to set the line because, again, we take the rounded to the nearest percentage point. I'm going to set the line at 34.5. Do you think Poilievre gets a 35 or above once throughout the year?
Throughout the year.
Yep. Until we do this in mid-December next year.
I'm going to take the under.
Really?
I think that he, even when he was leading in the polls, he didn't generally do that terrific on this question. I can imagine a 32, a 33, but the 35, if he's at 35, then the Conservatives are probably at 45 in the polls or something like that.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to take the under on that. I think
Okay.
that's too high.
I'll take the over on this. I think at some point he will reach 35. Mr. Carney will go down. Mr. Poilievre will pick up the slack. It's maybe a tad high, but it's gonna be a weird year as well. So I'm gonna take the over on this. Okay.
All right. Let's.
All right.
I got a couple for the NDP leadership race.
Okay, let's do it.
We don't know who's going to win. We don't even really know who's the front runner in this race.
We don't.
You don't? Why don't you let us all know?
Feels like okay. Well, we'll get to that. Go ahead.
So I'm just going to choose the person that I think we both think is probably the front runner. But I'm going to do the first round result for Heather McPherson.
Oh.
First round. All right. What if I put the line at 35?
So 35% for Miss McPherson in round number 1. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the under.
Under, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Game that out. How does that happen?
I think Miss McPherson, if I can slip a personal opinion there, would be a great choice for the NDP. She's an MP. She has good exposure. I think she would be a good leader. It's just that I'm not sure NDP members will go towards her. And I think Mr. Lewis should be considered the favorite at this point. I may be wrong. We have little numbers on this. The polling that's been done has been really sparse, and of course with tiny sample sizes. So I'm taking the under because I don't think she's gonna lead after the first round. So
okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Well, of course, what could happen as well is she gets 36, but Lewis gets 50, and then I'm right in my call, but not in the line. So it's possible. But,
So here's my thinking here.
Okay.
We got 5 candidates right now. I'm not sure if there'll still be 5 by the end, but let's assume that there's at least 3.
I think the 3 serious ones, I think, would be, okay.
I don't feel like the race has been getting a lot of attention. I'm not expecting there's going to be a huge rush of membership signups, of new members. And I think that Lewis and Ashton need new members, primarily, because I think that a lot of the existing base would be from Alberta, from Saskatchewan, probably from Ontario as well, where I think the party is a little bit more moderate.
That's fair.
And some in BC, sure, but... there are BC New Democrats who elect governments, right? So there is a level of pragmatism in the existing membership base. And I think that is probably going to favor McPherson. I don't know if it's enough to have her win. And one of the reasons I put it at 35 is that if you're in a multi-candidate race and you're below 40 on that first ballot, it can be tough to win, especially if there's not that many candidates. So anyway, I'm going to still take the over. I can imagine her getting a 37, 38, something like that. And it just all depends on how far back the second is, right? Let's say it's 38 for her and, 25, 25 for the other two. I don't know. I'm not sure if one of them would be able to get enough on their own to win. But if it's 38, 35, then...
she could be in trouble, huh?
Then I would think that, but anyway, I find it interesting that you don't think that she would be first place. But anyway, if you're taking the under, I'm taking the over on 35.
Okay. Interesting. And I could be wrong. NDPers, don't scream at us. We have little data. We go with our gut. And these are forced predictions. Perhaps by March, just before they elect their leader, it's going to be obvious who's leading. So I'm going to stick with the NDP race here. And ask you a very simple question. How many ballots will there be? 1.5, putting the line. Will somebody win this in the first ballot, or will we need multiple ballots?
I think that there will be multiple ballots. So, because I don't know if either Johnston or McQuail are going to make it to the end. They still have another $25,000, if I'm not mistaken, to plunk down. They managed to do the last 2, so maybe they will stay in. And if they stay in, I think that they together take off. Maybe they take off a lot more than I'm saying, but they could take off 5 to 10 between the two of them.
That's fair.
And so that then probably requires one of them to drop off, which then means the second ballot and then maybe another one just to get those 2 out. Like, that's one of the things I remember when we were talking about the Conservative leadership race in 2017. I'd hear people be like, with lots of confidence, maybe 8, 9 ballots, as many. And I was like, no, there's like 13 of them. And half of them are complete nobodies who are going to get 1%. Right. It's going to take a couple ballots to get rid of them. And I think that could happen here if it remains at 5. If it ends up being 3, then a first ballot victory is pretty possible. But I'm going to take the over. I think it'll probably be 2 or 3.
I want to just have a little point of clarification here, because I remember, Jackmeet Singh won on the first ballot in 2017, I think it was, right? Yeah. But I remember when Tom Mulcair won in 2012, it took, I think, 4 ballots. But on the first ballot, they didn't just eliminate the last place. They eliminated the last place plus anybody who was under 10%. So if they didn't change those rules, and I would have to check. I'm guessing they haven't changed those rules. It's possible that we get a first round where there's 5 candidates and a second round where there's 2. So that would reduce the odds of a third ballot. Of multiple ballots. So you're taking the over, so 2 or more ballots.
Yeah.
I will go on a limb here, and I will take the risky pick because, sometimes you have to take risky. I think there's only 1 ballot. One of the candidates gets over 50% right away, and it's over.
All right. Wow.
Taking the under.
I mean, it was a bit of a surprise that Singh did it. We all thought that he was the front runner, but wasn't sure if he could get 50. Leighton got over 50 on the first ballot, again, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, interesting. We'll see. March 29th, we'll get one of our earlier responses here. Okay, I had something for by-elections. We already kind of did one, so I'm going to skip that one. How about this one? Okay. You got to listen to the actual.
I'm listening.
Trudeau era cabinet ministers, people who were in Justin Trudeau's cabinet,
Yep.
who resigned their seat in 2026. Resigned the seat. Not their cabinet post.
So Guilbeault that would not count if he stays on. Resign their seat altogether.
He has to resign his seat. Yeah. Okay. So Wilkinson, for example, resigning, that would count, even though he wasn't in Carney's cabinet. So because we know that Blair and Freeland and Wilkinson are likely going to do it, it's already 3. So I'm going to put the line at 4.5. So will there be another at least 2 Trudeau-era cabinet ministers who will bid adieu to Ottawa and head off to greener pastures somewhere else?
Yeah, okay, so there's a floor at 3, we think.
Yeah. You think Guilbeault is going to resign his seat?
Well, he hasn't so far, and it's a pretty good job if you can keep it. And he went on Tout le monde en parle and did say, if there was an election, I would vote Liberal. So there's still some support from him, and it's just that if they keep scrapping environmental protections, perhaps at some point it's going to be too much. But Guilbeault could be one. That's the thing. I don't want to sound cynical, but it is true that in matters of these, like a person leaving before the end of their term, it's often because they find a new job, right? Or they outright retire. They're old. But I'm gonna go over. I think it's gonna be over. There will be un roulement of MPs this year. Some will find themselves not enjoying themselves too much, and I'm gonna go with the over. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay, well, there's definitely going to be 3. I bet you Guilbeault doesn't resign his seat. I bet you he stays. Maybe he leaves caucus, sits as an independent. Who knows? Takes over the Green Party. Will there be another one? Can I be completely cynical here? I don't think this is a real thing, but the 6 years for the pension, you got to stick around for the rest of 2026. You got to make it to 2027. Who knows?
The class of 21. For the class of 21.
That's right. So that could be a consideration for some people. So anyway, I'll take the under. I think you're probably going to win the point on this one because I do think there might actually be a few more. But resigning a seat it's one thing to say not running for election. It's another thing to actually resign the seat, because it would mean that we'd be talking about 5-6 by-elections, which we would love. But I'll take the under on that. I'll take the under.
I'm just looking at the list here. There's Leblanc, there's Joly, there's Champagne, there's Annan. Patty Hajdu was part of the Trudeau cabinet, wasn't she? Yeah, okay. Mark Miller, Sean Fraser, Richie Valdez. She was there at some point. Yes, she was. McKinnon, McGuinty. There's a lot of people that stayed around. Joel Lightben was not in cabinet.
One of the risks would be that there will be municipal elections in Ontario. So, will someone like Karina Gould want to go become mayor of Burlington? I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
That's why I think you'll probably get the point. But I'm going to, just for the game, I'm going to take the under.
Okay. Hang on here. Apologies. I still have little things in my mouth. Okay. I'm going to go back to the simple rolling averages here. So we think the NDP has hit a floor with only 6% in the election. Right now, the polling average for me, I have 9. We've seen low double digits. We see high single digits in the latest polls from Abacus, from Léger, the English Institute, Nanos. So I'm going to ask you again, with rounded to the nearest percentage point. On my tracker, what is the highest average the NDP will reach in 2026?
Ooh.
Now, I'm not sure where to put the line. So what will be the peak of the NDP in the average of polls? So even if we see a 15, they would have to get 14 and 15s to get to... I'm going to put the line at 12.5.
Oh.
Will they get a 13 on average this year?
I had in my head 12. Oh. Will they average 13? I think they'll get a bump with the leadership race, but that means bumping them up from 9. Will they get like a 4 or 5 point bump? I don't think so.
That's big. Yeah.
I'll take the under.
You'll take the under, huh?
13.5, is that what you said?
Yeah,
12.5.
12.5.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
Okay. I'll take the over unenthusiastically. But the thing is, I think they could get there a bit by default, because if the Liberals do go down at some point, if satisfaction does go down, you would think that in BC, in Ontario, in the prairies, in Manitoba, that number would go up for a park vote. It's just that maybe I set the line a bit too high, but I'm gonna stick with the over for this one.
All right. I will also do one on polling average.
Okay.
We haven't talked about this party yet, so I want to get one in. So the Bloc Québécois.
Yep.
So who is polling better? So this isn't over-under, but it's more of a prediction. But who will be polling better when we record this next year?
Okay.
And we take a look at 338.
Yep.
Who will be polling better? The Bloc Québécois or the Parti Québécois?
Oh my God. That's a good one. Okay. As reference, right now in my average, I've had the Bloc at 32, and they went up. They went up because they had good polls in December. And the Parti Québécois I have right now at 36. So right now the PQ is leading the Bloc. By year's end... Oh man, that's a good one.
By then, we're assuming PQ probably won the election early October, so they're now 2 months-ish into their mandate.
Yeah. And
maybe they've gotten a boost, but maybe the Bloc has gotten a boost too.
That's right. Or maybe Monsieur Plamondon is now premier. He made a cabinet, and schools and hospitals, their ceilings are leaking with water, and everything crumbles. Everything's possible. I'm gonna say the Parti Québécois, but I'm not. That's a good line. I'm not sure. Do you say the Bloc? Do you or because we just said we assume the PQ is gonna win. I'm not sure we should make this assumption, but in the mid-30s, I can see the PQ outpolling the Bloc. Yeah,
I'll take the Bloc because I'm going to posit in this scenario that we're now. So a year from now,
yeah,
Liberal government has probably lost a couple points here and there.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to go to Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives in Quebec. His numbers have really stalled. They've actually gone down recently, to the benefit of the Bloc. So I can imagine that the Bloc is now at 35, 36. The PQ has just won, but they won with 32% of the vote. A little bit of a squeaker. They're not getting much of a post-election honeymoon, and the Bloc is polling better in Quebec than the PQ in a year. We'll see.
Okay. Well, then this leads us to provincial stuff, which we will do all together. Mm-hmm. Do you have any more federal ones, my friend?
I do. Are you plumb out of federal?
I have one here. It's about British Columbia. Because I think the numbers have moved in British Columbia. We've seen the Liberals go down. Will they average 36.5% in my tracker, the federal Liberals in BC? 36.5. They had 42% in the election. They held on around that mark in many polls, but we have recent polls that show them in the low 30s. And I stress this. We won't do every province, obviously, but we've stressed this how important BC has been to the federal Liberals. Mark Carney is not prime minister without a good score in BC, and so if with the MOU that's gone down, there's going to be some tremors in provincial politics there. Will the Liberals be at 36.5 over or under at year's end?
Boy, I just said that they're going to be trailing the Bloc by a lot, so are they also going to be dropping in BC?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the... I'll take the under.
Oh, me too. Okay, hang on. 35.5.
I'll take the over for that.
I'll take the under. So
okay.
35.5 in British Columbia by year's end.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. How about this one? The size of the NDP caucus at the end of the year. 6.5.
There's 7 now.
Yes.
So you're saying the line, you think there will be resignations in the NDP?
I mean, the line is assuming there could be, yeah. The line is agnostic about any of this. It doesn't actually care or believe. It just is.
Okay, no, hang on there. Okay. You have to take the over. I'm wondering if you're tricking me here. That's why I'm gonna... The size of the NDP caucus by year's end at the House of Commons. You say 6.5 for the NDP. I'll slam the over.
All right, what if I put the over at... what if I put the line at 7.5?
That's tougher. I don't see any of them leaving. And if, let's say, Miss McPherson does not win the leadership and is... I don't want to use this word because it's too strong, but disappointed, disgusted with the state of the party and leaves, you would have to think that Edmonton Strathcona should be safe for the NDP. But then, would the by-election happen before? Yes, it would. 6 months. 7.5 means that they gain by-elections, and it's tough to bet on the side of by-elections for the NDP in recent years. Oh man, then I'm taking the under. I have to. Well, I mean, this is tough. What about you?
If you'll take the under, I'll take the over. I'm going to guess that they end up winning a by-election in North Island, Powell River, and they jump up to 8 seats.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know. I was curious to see where you would go with it. I kind of feel like one of them might not want to be a member of Parliament when they're only 6 or when they're only 7. Doesn't seem that much fun. But
or maybe the NDP MP from Nunavut will cross the floor, and then we're all wrong. So all right,
that was also a possibility. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. You got any more? I got a couple more.
No, you go ahead. I'm done.
All right. By the end of the year,
yep.
Over under on the number of Elizabeth Mays that are Green Party leader, 0.5.
Repeat that, please. I'm not sure. I started laughing before the end of your statement. Repeat that.
I said the number of Elizabeth Mays who are Green Party leader at the end of the year, 0.5.
Okay. Man. You have to go with the under. She announced that she would leave.
Oh, you think she's done?
Didn't. She as leader. Yes, I'm taking the under. Mm-hmm. I think she's gonna go and make my draft from last year true. So, what about you? You think she's staying on?
I think that she'll still be leader. Yeah, I bet you the Greens will not have organized a new race by the end of the year. So I'm gonna stick with that one. And now the perennial one, Philippe.
Hang on. Before you do this one, because I know where you're going. I did have number of federal leadership races in there, and I skipped it because we already have the NDP. So you think the Greens will not have a leadership race in 2026?
I don't think they'll have one that completes. Maybe they'll start one next fall or something like that, but
yeah,
I don't think that they got a lot of resources to get a leadership race going. Okay. Number of elections in 2026, federal elections, 0.5. Where do you stand?
Eric, I think this question, the answer to the question would have been very different a month ago, I think. I think I would have slammed the over. Now I'm gently pushing the over. I think there will be a federal election in 2026. I don't think the Liberal situation is as stable as they themselves think. Satisfaction at some point is going to go down. We know it's going to go down because it always does. It could be in 27, but it could be in 26, and I think we have a federal election next year.
Wow.
You don't think so, huh?
I would gently push the under.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like the Liberals might get enough seats to get the majority, and it could last them for the year. And then maybe 27, they
budget 27.
Yeah, they engineer their own defeat in 2027. But
interesting.
Yeah, I'm not super confident on either one of those, but I'll take the under on number of federal elections in 2026. Okay. Do we want to make any predictions about an election if it does happen?
About a date? Oh.
No, about the outcome.
Oh, about the outcome. No, I don't. Not after this year.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
We'll get there. I mean, if there was an election for sure, I think I would be fun to do over-unders. But let's not do hypothetical over-unders here. We would look silly. So.
All right, we'll do some over-unders if the election actually happens. Or
boom, there you go.
We'll see. Okay. All right. Well, that'll be it for this first part of the over-under competition. And we didn't agree on much, so I think that's good.
Yeah.
And we'll find out in a year. This time we won't have to wait too long. We'll find out whether we got them right or wrong, but we won't have to wait a year. We'll have to wait a year for a lot of these, so that'll be a bit more fun than the shaming we got in April. It's only like 5 months after we did it. Boy, what a year. So yeah, it has been an amazing year for the podcast, I think, and it's just been a really interesting year politically. And Philip, I want to wish you and all your family Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and to this for all of our listeners as well. Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
My Anna Green Gables one. I don't know why, but anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll be back next week with our over/unders on the provincial scene for 2026. So Philip, have a good one. And
merci beaucoup, Eric. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, and talk to you soon.